Okay, at this point you've automatically installed Linux. You've logged on already. This is the first screen that you see. Those particular steps kind of follow along, or they do follow along with the installation documentation that I've put together. Now make sure that you review the VM Workstation and Player keyboard shortcuts. That's kind of a brief copy of those, but they're really handy. These are the handiest of the shortcuts. You can auto view, or in order to fit your VM into a window and workstation, you can go to View, Fit Guest Now, and Auto View, and it'll go ahead and fit that VM in there. Now, the rest of this, you've probably read through that or taken a look at that. I'll add a little bit more information, and I guess probably follow up with that later perhaps. Now, this whole installation piece, this automatic installation piece, has really ran through or replaced steps 1 through 20 on pages 235 and 236. So at this point, we should be after the automatic installation has completed. This is the screen that you see. This is where we're at, and I'm going to talk about step 21, installing software. So with that said, the computer is basically the start button. We'll go to Control Center. Control Center is sort of a grouping of all these different kinds of things you can do. Hardware, you can change the screensaver. Don't change the screensaver, but you can change the appearance. Assistive technologies, change passwords. What we want to do though is install software. Now, with this, you logged in as your main account. Okay, my main account was Sean. I logged in as Sean. That when you install Linux, there are two accounts created: the root, which is the system administrator, and your regular user accessible account. Now, the reason for that, typically you work within or with your own account open. It's a little bit unprivileged. The reason for that is so you don't make some terrible screw up and it affects your whole system. When you want to go out and do system sort of things, installing software, deleting certain kinds of files, adding permissions, you can go ahead and click on like an install software button, and this is going to prompt you for the root or the system administrator password. Okay, so again, it needs enough permissions or privileges to be able to go ahead and install applications. So that's what we're doing. I'll go ahead and enter the root password, and again, that root is a system administrator. It's going to start the software manager. It wants you to go to filter and look for patterns. Patterns are sort of like features, features basically of Linux. We want to select C and C++ compiler and tools. Notice the green check. We want to have that green check on. And we also want to have the green check on each one of these. They're basically dependencies. If you're thinking about Microsoft Office, let's see, let's cancel that. I clicked on something I shouldn't have. There we go. If you think about Microsoft, not Office, but Microsoft Server 2008, for instance, you have services, and then you have services that fall underneath the top level services that are called dependency services. These are all kind of like dependency sort of pieces. All of these have to be installed in order to make the compiler work. And you'll see that throughout all these different kinds of installations. We want to go ahead and accept this and continue. Now what we're going to see, and I want this to take a little time and error out. When you log back into Linux, you won't have your DVD connected. And that DVD is your ISO, the original ISO that you connected to it. Now, we have to go back out, and you can do this before we get to this step, or afterwards, or at this step, I should say. It's important, and I want to go ahead and show you what happens if during an installation this occurs, that DVD or that ISO isn't connected. So you'll get an error that looks like this. Insert the SUSE Linux Enterprise Server DVD. Okay, what we have to do, and you can go ahead and do this beforehand, you won't get this error message. Oftentimes when you get this error message, the issue is connecting that DVD. I need to go out to VM, and it's a little bit different in Player, but you can find it. Removable devices, CD, DVD, settings. Okay, so this physical drive is connected. We need to use the ISO image, and we'll browse. Okay, where did I put that? Courses and ISO. And I'm looking for that SUSE ISO. We'll open this and we'll OK it. Now I still, though, need to go out to the VM, removable devices, CD, and connect it. Okay, so it's going to mount this particular device, and I need to put that password in for root again, and I'll remember the authorization, okay, for this session only, okay, just as a security measure. Authenticate. This is what that DVD looks like, the contents of the DVD. I should just be able to minimize this, retry my installation, and I'm not sure how long this will take. It doesn't take very long. I'll go ahead and pause this temporarily and then turn it back on after this installation. Well, there we go. There we go. You can see how this is going to go ahead and install. You know, it'll just keep running until all of those separate features, those separate dependencies are installed. So at this point, when this completes, you should be good to go with that C and C++ compiler. So I'll go ahead and stop the video at this point, but that should complete correctly. And thank you very much.